The thing is, the PIA, there's no perfect law in the world. So laws are not perfect. Laws need to be
evolved, yeah.
As things happen, and the laws go around policy changes in Nigeria. So if the policies are changing, then the PIA might be reviewed. But the PIA by itself, it's a very well-written document. It's not the perfect bullet to Nigeria's problem, but the challenge is implementation. It hasn't been well implemented. A lot of provisions in the PIA are being ignored. The purpose of the investment, 21 years to get the PIA, 21 years, millions of naira and dollars and such. Then we get the PIA out, and then we dump it somewhere, right? And go back to default habits, which is the biggest problem. And I was talking about something which the PIA tried to address, what you said as well, those communities, lack of benefits to those communities. The PIA said, okay, money is coming, there's derivation, we can't see the effects. And when you go to some communities in Niger Delta, you find out the only house that have tin roofs are people involved in illegal oil bunkering. Now the PIA said, okay, part of your revenue, keep aside through a community trust fund for those communities. So bypassing the states and the government, direct to the community. Now it's new. A lot of companies have set up their own trust funds. I know at least about 8 or 9 trust funds. So again, that will be implemented would allow the community benefit from oil. Because again, it's not all theft is not only a function of people wanting to steal. There are economic issues as well. There's degradation and there's impact. Again, like you said correctly, if you steal oil, it doesn't go to the community. It goes to the people doing it and it supports militancy and other issues. But again, you must not take away from the fact that people there are sort of captive by the problem of Nigerian state. So the PIA is a good document. Before we start reviewing it, maybe we should implement it properly well first. Now, when implement properly, one of the things I like to say is this. The PIA had 3 concepts. Set out the policy direction of Nigeria, set out who has the agenda, set out the laws implementing and the fiscal framework. Now, the fiscal framework is good. It's one of the best you can see anywhere in the world. Fiscal framework is why people decide to invest. And right now, Nigeria is one of the best fiscal framework compared to any nation. So why are they still not coming in? Because the fiscals are generous, and why are they pulling out? Well, they decided to pull out years ago, before your PIA came out. But for new investors and the big ones, it's a good area. Gas. This government has done very well on gas. This government has done quite well on gas. And gas is growing in expansion. But last point I wanted to say was this. The budget, which you mentioned, I always wonder how they set 1.7 million barrels per day, or the figures. You want to do your budget setting, you do historical facts. If you've never done 1.7, 1.8 in 7 years, on what basis did you set 1.7 million barrels per day? It's an object designed to fail. And that's where the fault comes in. You know what you can do based on your average over past 7, 8 years is 1.2. Then you set a budget of 1.7. And then the irony of it is that 1.2 is not all for Nigeria, which is another thing that happens. If you do 1.2 million barrels per day, yours as a country is probably about 720,000 barrels, because other people that put money in the business will take their own oil as well. The PSCs, the joint ventures, the service contracts, so it's not all of yours. So there's a problem in that budget framework. Then the third factor is this, which is why I support engineer's point. Why are you producing crude for sales? Why? For every barrel of crude you sell out of the country, you lose over $1,000 in terms of value addition. Why don't you produce crude for development locally? Have more refineries, give your refineries, supply petrol to West Africa.
But is that not why Dangote came into this scene?
Dangote is an export refinery. I think people forget that fact. And I always tell people again, I say it regularly. Dangote is an export-free zone. If Nigeria is buying from Dangote, we are importing.
That's what it translates to.
It does not change the fact of the location. Dangote has an export-free zone license.
Okay.
So even when Nigeria is buying, we're buying as if we're buying from Ghana or Togo. So
is that what it is?
That's what it is. That's one thing people forget in the fact. So it being localized in Nigeria physically, it does not mean regulatory-wise. It's all that. So yes, it's a Nigerian-based company, but it is a free trade zone, and it's an export-free trade zone. So Dangote will produce petrol or diesel or aviation fuel and sell to Nigeria as if we're buying from Togo or Benin Republic or Cotonou. Those were part of the agreement. Because otherwise, refineries are not that great returns. 1.1, 1.2, 0.9. It's not a very great investment. It's a marginal business. So he needed that guarantee to ensure that, well, if you're not buying, right now, his market, and he will tell you that himself. He's not Nigeria. He's been selling to Europe. Aviation fuel has been to Europe. I mean, who will sell petrol to Nigeria when petrol in Nigeria is 700, 600 naira, and when it is 1718 everywhere, it's $1 internationally. They're selling to Nigeria at 50 cents.
Because the impression we got was, I mean, we as Nigerians got was when Dangote finally comes on stream, we will have more supply of, crude and all that. And then, the price of PMS will probably crash.
The question I ask people is,
yes,
are inputs different from other people's inputs? If I sell yam in Lagos and I sell yam in Calabar, is it not the same yam I'm using? He's going to buy crude. He's bought 6.5 million barrels of crude from America in dollars.
But the private sector input is quite different from the refineries that are being managed by government.
No, it's not this. It doesn't work that way.
Huh?
In fact, Nigerian refineries, in true sense of the word, are one of the most profitable to operate anywhere in the world. And I'm talking anecdotal. I'm talking reality. The refineries margins in Nigeria are very, very high. But the point is this: the product of product prices are determined by two factors: international market prices and your foreign exchange. So if you're producing, if Dangote takes crude at $80 per barrel, puts it in the refinery, how is it going to sell it at 300 naira per liter? How is it going to sell it at international prices? It's going to sell it at the price it can price. Look, a refinery doesn't make money anymore when crude goes beyond $70. It starts making a loss. So it's a marginal business. It's very thin. So, I mean, people's expression should be dampened, and that's face reality. He will sell at the prices that are competitive, but they cannot be less than the prices that he produces them. He will not subsidize production. He's still going to buy the crude. He hasn't got the crude from Nigeria so far. Unless Nigeria sells crude to him in Naira. Now, if you sell the crude to him in Naira, where do you get your foreign exchange from?